Hello everybody, how's it going? Carl Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well, and welcome back to iRacing. Yes, I'm racing again. It's been a bit of a time to get a video up, unfortunately. Just health issues and real life have been taking me out of things, but I thought I'd get this one done. So this was from the practice race on Sunday for Sunday Night Lights at COTA West. So we qualified poorly because we managed to get a 4x every lap. And yeah, it didn't go too well in qualifying, but the race is going to go better, I think. So we get a good start, almost get collected at the first corner if somebody doesn't give us any room on the exit of the corner there. But that's to be expected in Skippies. You just have to watch out for everybody else. It's more so keeping an eye on everybody else's race rather than your own. Somebody has a big moment up in front of us. We just take to the runoff area just to avoid an incident there, which means we have to serve a slowdown penalty. But we've managed to keep the car alive. So COTA West, it's an interesting little track. It's got all the technical parts of normal COTA. It just cuts back on some of the straight, which is a bonus. Another person has a big spin. We just managed to sneak through there, and we're up to, I think, 5th now. So running well so far. We're car number 7 in this race. So, you know, it's been a bit of a tough one for gaining IR. And just keeping safety rating up is my main goal at the moment. That's sort of been my main ambition recently, is just trying to get safety rating to a point where it's not too negative, really. I will one day actually get my B license. I just need to actually do some racing. Get very close to the number 12 there, as they brake incredibly early for the corners. So we've got to try and get past this guy, because obviously a little bit slower in the corners. Lock up a little bit through this corner, run a bit wide. And this is one of the things with Skippies sometimes, is you just have to be super careful getting through the corners, because people will brake in odd places. People do brake check you a little bit, unfortunately, which is not fun. Anyway, we've worked our way up into P5 now, so not a bad start all in all, but we lose a position here. So okay, not the best cornering there. We ran a bit wide, a little bit of an avoidance of the car in front of us, so we dropped down to 6th now. So Sunday Night's Lights has been ongoing, and I've been having some relatively okay races. They've not been the best, though. I've been having a lot of races where I've been sort of the lowest number in the field, you know, and up against some really good competitive drivers, which has made me feel very inadequate. Make a move down the inside here, nice and easy. Work our way through there, and we are passed back up to P5. But yeah, I've been really struggling with some of the competitive drivers, and that's not a bad thing. I feel like I've improved a bit from it, but it has been a real hard thing to actually get happy with how things have been. I've had some good races, but I've also had quite a lot of accidents and a lot of spins. I was really annoyed last time out at the Red Bull ring. I sort of managed to have a really good race and then spun it, which really frustrated me. It's one of those things that just kills me when that happens. But it's one of those things I need to work on, because obviously I need to practice more. It's a big thing. I need to practice more. Getting a really good run on this guy, the 12. We move to the inside here. We're going to try and brake a little bit later than him. You've got to be careful up the inside, because you don't want to run it into the side of him. Going to turn in here and open up the wheel. Now, just got to be careful of the guy on our inside, but we've made the corner and we are past. So yeah, I've had a couple of races where it's just been a bit blur. This is, as I say, the practice race, so this is the race before Sunday Night Lights. And through this corner here, my steering wheel disconnected for a moment. Unfortunately, I forgot to put a screw in the actual quick release mechanism, so it actually undid itself during the race, and I ended up straight lining it through there and hit the big yellow curb, and unfortunately destroyed my whole suspension system, which was not good for the car. It made it quite hard to drive. I ended up finishing in 10th for the race, which wasn't too bad. You know, I was one of the faster cars out there, which annoyed me, but I sort of stuffed up, as I said, and I had that technical issue. I stuffed up my qualifying as well, which didn't help things. But I had some really good racing, and that really, really made it for me. It's nice to have some good racing, in all honesty, because it's one of those things you don't always get. And some clean racing is always welcome, and luckily Sunday nights you tend to get a lot of drivers that tend to be a bit cleaner than some of the other days. They tend to give you a bit more room and don't fight as often. You sometimes find in the lower I rating races you do get a few people that fight a little bit too hard. Anyway, that's enough complaining. On to this race. So we're not doing too badly here. 4th lap of 14. So we've got quite a way to go at the moment. We're sitting in P4 though. Now we just have to close the gap on the cars in front of us. There's quite a big gap here, as you can see. We're a good, 10 seconds down, 10, 15 seconds off them. It's a fair amount of gap here. This section here is honestly one of my favourites to get right, because it just feels so good and you make up so much time. I was making up a good second on the guys in front of me through that section, just because I was just able to sort of get it perfect a lot of the time and just really run through there. Now I say I was able to get it perfect, I was still, you know, probably about 2 seconds slower than the fast guys, but those guys are just aliens, so I don't mind being off their time. So you may be asking what's going on with the channel and what's going on with me recently, because I've not had a huge upload schedule, and I apologise for that, that's good. But I've been really busy with work, which is really good and really bad at the same time. Obviously, it's been knackering me health-wise, just because, you know, those extra couple of hours here and there just really take it out of me. I've been managing about 15 hours a week, which has been, you know, awesome. Super, super happy with that. And it's been, as I said, it's been pretty constant recently, which is nice. With Christmas coming up, obviously, it's been very busy. Black Friday was absolutely insane. I'm celebrating my 10th year with the company this week as well, which is kind of crazy. It's been 10 years I've been with them. Been in optics for about 12 to 13 years now, so it's, you know, it's a career. It's one of those things that you know, you just don't realise, and then all of a sudden, you know, a century's passed and you're like, oh, okay. You know, it's kind of crazy. A decade, sorry. Although I'm sure a century will pass in blink of an eye. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Plus health-wise, I've been a bit rough recently, in all honesty. Quite a lot of pain and things like that. There's been a lot of weather changes here in South Australia, and we're finally getting to a point where it's been quite hot and sort of stable for a few days. But unfortunately, that's going to change on Friday when it's about to rain. I've also been having issues with my medication, unfortunately. So I've been having an issue called opiate analgesia, which is basically where the opiates that I take end up causing pain rather than stopping it, which is really, really horrible. You know, you take a painkiller and you expect to have some pain relief, but instead it actually causes you more pain. It's not fun. So that's been really, really sucky, but, you know, it's one of those things I'm used to, unfortunately. So I've just been coping with it. Now I am working on a new history video. The newest one is actually going to be on Racing Driver. As you've noticed, I've been doing a bit more racing content recently. But I am doing some more military content soon, hopefully. One of the big things for me is I've just been unable to play War Thunder, just because I just can't deal with it. I just can't deal with Gaijin at the moment. So that's been a bit sucky, but it's one of those things. It's not too bad, but I've just been unable to stomach it. So we are closing on the cars in front of us, which is good. So we're narrowing the gap, which is important. We're getting good, consistent laps, and this is what I want to practice on, and what I want to actually get better at is consistency, because that's something I do struggle with a bit. And you know, it's a thing of I need to race more, I need to drive more, because I only really drive on Sundays. You know, I do once a week for a couple of months, and it's fun for me. It's not really I'm not really working on becoming the best ever or getting a huge, you know, I know I'm not going to be the fastest, but I can race with people, and that's the main thing. And you know, I've been having some fun racing Peter Wilkinson of Locked On iRacing's podcast and Locked On Lads team fame, but been having some good competitive racing with Wilco. He's faster than me in many respects, but I have been sort of chipping away a little bit, and in the Sunday Night Lights Championship, I'm about 8 points off, I think. So, you know, it's trying to beat him in that is my main goal. But it's been fun to actually have that little competitive edge with somebody. And, you know, he is an absolute master of the Skippies, so the fact that I'm not too far off racing him makes me pretty happy, because I'm not as well versed in these things. Got a NASCAR race coming up soon as well in the Super Low models. So on Saturday, you're racing them at Five Flag Speedway for the NASCAR series, and I will hopefully be streaming that one. So look forward to a possible stream coming up. If I don't stream it, then I will be doing a replay of the race or something like that, similar to what I do with these. But we'll see how that one pans out. I'm hopefully going to stream it though, because I've been a while since I last streamed anything. Obviously it's a bit difficult to stream when you're racing, because you can't really glance at things, but we'll see how it goes. Now, one of the things I really hate about this track is the off-track. It is super easy to get an off-track here, even if you have all four wheels on... Sorry, even if you have two wheels on the road, it pings you if you've got two wheels over the white line in some corners, and it's really frustrating because you're just right on the edge and it will ping you, so it's very hard to get, you know, 0x's here. And it's just frustrating because it's one of those tracks where it invites you to run that little bit wider. It's quite a wide track, and the fact it's so punishing for the track limits just really puts you off racing hard. So I didn't enjoy that too much. COTA is one of those tracks that I'm not a huge fan of, in all honesty. I feel like it's an okay track, but I mean, it's built on a garbage site. You know, and that pretty much describes the track. It's garbage. But yeah, it was built on a rubbish dump, and that's why it's so bumpy, because the track hasn't settled properly, and it's just, you know, it's just not very good. And there are so many good American tracks out there. It's such a shame that we can't get some good racing at the Glen, at you know, Road America. There are so many good tracks. I mean, Sebring, you name it. There are just so many good tracks. But you know, the Glen and Road America are just so iconic. You know, Formula One would be great at those tracks. They're just so very cool. But no, we have to come to COTA because, you know, it's custom built. It's proper Formula One standards. It's just not a great historic track. Although, you know, it's what, 14 years old now, 15 years old. It's getting on in years. I think it was like 2007 was the first race at COTA. I'm trying to think now. I think it was quite early on, wasn't it? It was uh, 2010 maybe, actually, I think, because it was Ooh, who won the first race? Was that Hamilton? I think it was Hamilton first race. I'm trying to remember now. Memory is hard sometimes. It's one of those joys of getting old, I guess. You just try and remember things and it's just like, nope, not going to work for you. But yeah, it would have been about 2010, 2011, I think, so yeah. Anyway, it's just a bit of a circuit that's like so many Formula 1 circuits these days. Speaking of, we've got Qatar and Abu Dhabi and all that kind of stuff coming up soon for Formula 1, which is exciting, the human rights violation tracks. So coming up on a lapped car, I think, here, who just lets us pass nice and easily. Very, very nice of them. It's nice when people actually, don't put too much into defending you when they're a lap down.
Thank you.
So, we're catching up to the guy in P3 at the moment, and that's my next goal. So, we've got a few laps to go. We're on lap 9, so 5 to go. And we are absolutely closing in on the third and second place drivers. So, I've really been quite happy with how this race has gone. It's, again, there have been a few little mistakes here and there, but generally pretty solid racing, pretty solid driving, which, I don't get a huge amount of sometimes. Again, as I said, I struggle with consistency a bit, and a lot of that is to do with pain-related stuff, unfortunately. I do have the problem of, during the race sometimes, my back will start to ache and things like that, especially if it's been a couple of hours in the sim. I have my lower back going numb on me, which is really, really uncomfortable, because that also means I lose sort of feeling in one of my legs generally, which is not good when you're trying to drive, because you generally want to have some throttle control or brake control or things like that. So that does make things a little bit trickier. But when it all goes right, I tend to be, I'm not the fastest person out there, I'm a good couple of seconds off the fast guys, but I'm not super, super slow, and, I tend to be able to race people as well, giving a little bit of distance here, and, not making stupid lunges as well, because that's one of the other big problems you have, is people making insane lunges on you, where they will absolutely go, last minute braking, try and run up your inside, into the first corner on cold tyres and cold brakes, brake about 100 metres too late, and if you don't avoid them, you're just going to both end up crashing. So you have to avoid them, and they end up getting the corner because of that. But it's not really a good pass.
I think your mic's working at it.
Forcing your way through, and
I said if you're that keen, I might let you through.
Driving really annoys me because it just
it's alright. All good, keep going.
People just get away with it so often because you don't want to crash into them, because there's no, with iRacing, you're both at fault.
3 blokes have already run into me in this race.
The driver that crashes into you is at fault. It's a you're both at fault situation. And I feel like if they actually made the system so it could tell if you're making a stupid move, I don't know how you'll program that, but if they actually made it so you got punished for crashing into somebody, in a stupid way by braking, 100 metres too late into a corner and just ramming them, I feel like it would happen a lot less, which would be nice, but unfortunately it doesn't, so we have to deal with people being complete numpties. So when you get to race people in a fair situation, it does make it a lot more fun. So you can see how much we close on this guy through that section. That it's a really tight little section, that one, but it is really fun to get right. And we absolutely narrow the gap to P3. So we're really, really pushing now and starting to hustle them. So in this situation, you've got a couple of different options for trying to pass them. You can try and pressure them by getting into somebody's mirrors and really trying to distract them, or you can just try and work out where they're the weakest. So generally the best way to do it is to use a little bit of both. You know, you want to try and pressure them into thinking you're going to take a corner when you're not actually going to do it. So forcing somebody to go a little bit wide is a really good option, because that will help you pass them. Or trying to make them think you're going to pass them in an odd place, so they go to defend, and then you can just drive around them. So, you know, using that sort of strategy really pays off sometimes. The other thing is just watching them as well. Now we've got one lap 13 now of 14, so we are very much getting to the end of this race. Sorry, we're on lap 12, sorry. So we are really running out of laps to get this done. So we're going to have to try and do a little bit of a lunge, but also not too much of one. I don't really want to lose any positions, but I wouldn't mind gaining a podium in this respect. So we're going to try and put a little bit of pressure on this guy. Again, through these S's and up to this corner section here, we are much faster. And again, you can just see how much we close on him. Now, lose a little bit of the rear here, as we're just absolutely bolting it towards this guy. But the thing about a Skippy is you can absolutely take advantage of that. Thank you to that lapped car as well. Really nice of them. They could see that we were starting to have a really good battle here, and again, really nice to have people respecting that kind of thing. So right here, we need to really close in on this guy. We need to get within about a second to start getting the slipstream. So once we can start slipstreaming, we can actually take advantage of the straights, which, you know, it's quite a long straight, start-finish straight here, and it's uphill. So, you know, a little bit of slipstreaming can really help out. The only negative thing is sometimes in the corners you do get a little bit of dirty air, but you can generally cope with it quite well. So we're definitely closing in on this guy now. We're just getting to that point where we're going to start getting that little bit of slipstreaming effect into us, and we are going to be able to really start closing in on it. But we only have a couple of laps to go. We're on lap 13 now, so we are very much closing the end of the race. We've got 2 laps to go. And it is going to get really close here at the finish. I must admit my heart rate started to jump up a little bit here, and you know, that's one of the other things I tend to have an issue with, is just I tend to get very excited when I know I'm going to get a race happening, when I know it's going to be a good battle, and the adrenaline starts kicking in, and then all of a sudden you have like an overload of adrenaline, and that can really hurt, because you just get a little bit too jumpy. So again, we're going to close up through this section, especially through these corners here. You can see just ran absolutely a bit wide, had to brake a little bit later. We can almost straight line this section there, just really thread the needle there. And we close up now on this short straight. So we're going to brake a little bit later. We're just going to take a slightly different cornering here, just to try and get underneath them, just really put them off. So this is the number 2 car. So we're doing well. We're battling somebody with a higher I rating. We get down the inside here. Now I know I'm not going to be able to pass in this corner, so I'll just ease off a little bit earlier and turn in a little bit earlier, so we're going to better run out of the corner. Again, this is just trying to take advantage of sort of the exits. So I'm forcing him to go a little bit wider for defence, but I'm able to take a better exit out of the corners and really catching up on this guy. So coming up to the final section now, just brake a little bit earlier, just to settle the car down. You can see they've ran wide. And then into the final corner here, again, we brake nice and late. We take a nice early corner entry so we can get a better run off the corner. And we're going to get a nice slipstream here. So you can be able to see straight line advantage. We'll have that now. Especially as we get to the hill, we'll just have a little bit more speed. We're on the last lap as well, so we don't have much to go. We're going to brake late into this corner, which we do. We force them right on the outside. We're going to take a nice early entry here. And we have got plenty of room to make it through. Really, really happy with that little pass. And now to see if we can catch up to P2. We've got less than a lap to do it in, but we'll see what we can do. And we also want to make sure we don't lose P3 as well. So that's the other thing, of course. You just want to try and defend and make sure you don't lose a position, because it's easy enough to lose a position in this respect. So, you know, you've got to be a little bit careful of things. You know, if you push too hard, you're going to lose a position, and that really will cost you a lot. So you generally don't want to push to the point where you're going to lose a position, but we want to try and attack P2 because, you know, second is better than third. And we've got the speed to do it as well. This guy up in front of us is struggling a bit. So we are taking time hand over fist out this guy. And I think they've possibly damaged something or had an issue with their car because we're just able to catch up. So we're catching up on second and first in front of them as well. We're just absolutely hammering it. I wish I had the speed all race long because boy oh boy, this would have been a great drive if it had. But we just make it there. And we managed to get P3 in the end. So pretty happy with that race all in all. Alright, let's just head to the results screen. Okie dokie. So results wise, not a terrible race. That wasn't first place, sorry, that was second. That was a lapped car. Results wise, you can see the winner absolutely unbeatable. You know, high I rating. Just very much untouchable for us. You know, was setting 146 average laps. My average lap speed 149.1, which, you know, is not very good, but it's still was very reasonable. And we caught up on the second place guy as well. Fastest laps 147.4, which, you know, not blistering fast, but not terribly slow either. Faster than a few people around us, and, you know, close to a lot of the cars that were within the same I rating. We made 53 I rating and just a couple of safety rating losses, but overall a really good result with that one. A race that I'm super proud of and really had fun in racing. So, you know, that's the main thing, is we just race to have fun. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. As I said, I'll be doing some history videos soon, getting back to normal. And yeah, I will see you all again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.